Once you were his friend, you never lost him, nor he lost you.
He has never forgotten his boyhood chums or family members.
Our neighborhood on Fifth South, we pretty well played in the streets.
He was a bit of an athlete when he was a young fellow. He played basketball, but he was a self-starter. He didn't have to be told everything. He was 100% when he decided to do something.
When he was going to get my bottle ready, he would put the milk in a little old pan on the stove that wobbled and keep putting his finger in it to see if it was warm yet.
He'd pray an awful lot, and that was one thing that we were aware of. He'd pray for the food, he'd pray for things that happened, and I noticed him many times. He would take a hat off and say a prayer, even when he was out on the stream fishing.
When President Monson was a very young bishop, I think one of the youngest in the church, he was 22 years old. He obtained a Heinrich Hoffmann portrait of the Savior, and he has had that picture of the Savior with him everywhere he has ever gone since, and it's still in his office today. He loves the Master, and he follows the path of the Master. He walks the path of the Master. One of his favorite scriptures probably says it best: he is always on the Lord's errand.
Thomas Spencer Monson was born on a Sunday morning, August 21st, 1927, at the old St. Mark's Hospital on 2nd West in Salt Lake City. His parents, G. Spencer and Gladys Condi Monson, were of Hardy, Swedish, English, and Scottish ancestry, and made a loving home for Tom, his 2 brothers, and 3 sisters. In 1927, there were just over 600,000 Latter-day Saints, most of them living in the American West. Heber J. Grant was president of the church, and in 3 years, the church would celebrate its 100th anniversary. Tom grew up on Salt Lake City's west side, in the midst of a close family of grandparents, aunts, and uncles. His grandfather, Thomas Sharp Condi, had purchased property on the southwest corner of 5th South and 2nd West, built his own home there, and provided homes for each of his 4 daughters and their husbands. Tom was always welcome and totally at ease in any of their homes, never feeling the need to knock.
My father did have an idyllic setting as he grew up. He loved his relatives and everything that they did for him. His aunts and uncles, it was as though he was their son as well.
His mother and father were very good people. We loved them both. They loved the gospel, and they have taught it to their children.
My mother was a friendly, outgoing person. She would talk to people on the bus. She made friends instantly.
Being around Gladys, you know, it was what you call a hoot, I guess.
People would say, "Gladys, how did you raise a son to become an apostle?" And she'd smile and with her own sense of humor say, "Well, it wasn't easy, but I persevered."
My father was a hard worker. He worked 12 hours a day, 6 days a week.